Okay, so this is going to be my video for Fitz's class.
How's your Gandhi? Oh yeah.
Holy cow, I need to lower my audio. Okay.
Is it the Llama Lord with no profile pic?
I think so.
Do you have a profile pic?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It should be a live stream right now.
I cannot find this.
You can't?
Wait, Llama underscore.
Yeah, I can't find your channel.
Okay, give me a second.
YouTube?
Yeah, it's YouTube.
Oh, but they can filter it live maybe and then the results never.
Give me a second, I'm just gonna input this link instead. That's the thingy. Okay. So, continuing on, is going to be my video for Fitz's class. At least a poor attempt for it. So, this game is Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World is a game where you and your friends go and hunt monsters. This is a part of the series. This is the game that came out before the most recent one, Monster Hunter Rise. So Monster Hunter World also got an expansion called Iceborne. So currently right now we're going through the stages of loading the game for character creation.
We'll be right back again.
Alright. Like there's something over my attenuation settings. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
All these fucking noise reduction features are on.
Okay.
Sisters and brothers of the Fifth Fleet, it's time. I'll keep my farewell brief.
Guitar.
Never was much with words. Once you board this ship, there's no turning back. The next ground your feet will touch will be that of the new world. If any of you have lost your nerve, then step away now, and let no one judge you. Very well. Then sail safe and strong, and may the Sapphire Star light your way.
So here we are being introduced to characters in the game. And in Monster Hunter World, you
Yo, did you hear? We're almost there. You ready to grab this new world by the horns? Don't know about you. It feels like ages since I left home to join the commission. So, nervous? Believe you me, I get it. Anything could happen to us, but hey, that's happened.
Hey, aren't you one of the A-list hunters?
What? No way! So are we! Hey!
So, some people don't like the game because of its, talking style, because the way that they just move the characters' mouths to, simulate talking, instead of actually having talking characters, like, on tone. As you can see, there's many options you can have for characters. Character creation can last a while if you are into specifying every little detail for a character. But I'll just go with basics. You even got eyes types, you got your nose. And this is the armor type that you would be starting with. So essentially, if you don't want to run around with armor, you can. If you want to run around with leather or chainmail, you can. Guardian armor was added in as an extension sort of armor for Monster Hunter Iceborne. So now we get to customize our little companion. There's a lot of options for our little companion. So many cute options. But just like us, our companions can wear armor, because they join you in your fights. Robert, the link was shared in the chat.
So, how about a toast?
I can't find the link.
In the videos and stuff.
Oh.
To the A-list! And the commission!
Cheers!
So this is being done as a live stream, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip. Oh wait, you can. Fortunately, that's another thing that people hate about this game, is you can't skip cutscenes.
The guild's itching for an answer. They say the Fifth Fleet's got the best shot at cracking this case, and I agree.
Keep it down. Hey, speaking of, A-listers usually operate in teams of 2.
Oh, hey look, we got an audience member. Where it's just Robert. Robert may not be able to join me in this call, but he's there.
Listen to that. Rough out there. The waves are picking up. That's gotta mean landfall. You're on the A-list, right? Huh. Howdy-do.
Yes, you are Robert.
But I do have pretty good ears. Ah, put her there. I happen to be an A-lister myself.
Currently, right now, we're about to be introduced to one of the big bad monsters we're hunting. Because everyone loves hunting mountains. before the kitty cat gets thrown away. Oh no. That's bad. Very bad. Okay, unskippable cutscenes, fun. I think this is about the worst part of the game. And this game is a game of repetition. It's a game where you go hunt monsters and gather items.
Hello? Anybody there?
So, you hunt, you gather, and it's all to defeat stronger monsters. Or to get faster at beating said monsters. People also enjoy playing this for their storyline, but those are also the critics who very much dislike the characters talking, because it's an off-sync talk. This is also one of those game series that spans over different game types. There are, I think, 3 console games in total, including the one that just recently came out, Monster Hunter Rise, and then Monster Hunter World Iceborne, which is this one. And I think there's supposed to be one more that came out on a different console. But otherwise, most of these games are on PC.
So much packing.
As you can see, we just got our introduction to the face of this monster. We're essentially fighting the Godzilla of this game. Or this world. Essentially what they call worlds is different continents. In Monster Hunter Rise, that's taking place in a different continent than Monster Hunter World, which is a new continent, which they call the New World. Monster Hunter World is also a, it added in a whole bunch of new tactics. So before, in the older games, you couldn't use items like healing potions while moving, but now you can.
I don't hide the address yet. I'm here to correct your point. That is... Yes. What did you say? When it appears, I am here to collect it. Oh, I see. Stick around. It is very nice. Thank you.
Another thing to the game is loading screens. It's also another thing that takes a bit. But it's unskippable cutscenes and potentially just not knowing how the game works, which can make the hunts or the monster hunts take a while.
What's this? Somebody must have set up this camp. I found this in the tent. It has a map in it. Well, part of one at least.
Who's this?
It looks like we're right around here.
Barbalut suits? What is
The
Barbalut?
research commission's base of operations is here. This is where our ship was supposed
You
to dock.
read Dr. Seuss?
For now, I think it would be best if we make our way to base.
Okay, so
The
have
map
you
should
ever
help
seen
us
the
find our
Lorax
way.
or read the Lorax? You know those little bears? The little bears?
Are those called Barbaluts?
Yes.
not made aware of this until this exact moment in time.
You looked distressed.
I'm fingering my guitar.
Look, the Research Commission's headquarters. Come on, let's get going.
Unfortunately, this early into the game, your character doesn't realize that they can use their little hunting knife as a weapon.
According to the map, to get to
So
HQ,
tired.
you need to... I had the scout flies memorize my scent earlier. If you lose sight of me, just follow the scout flies, and they'll lead you right to me.
As you can see in the bottom left... Okay, never mind, there's another cutscene. I was gonna say, as you can see in the bottom left, you can see our little map and our little vision section. On that map is also where monsters are gonna show up. Next to the map is also going to be where the larger monsters worth hunting show up. These creatures are called the Jagras. The Jagras are relatively weak creatures.
You need to hide. Come on, this way. Hurry! Stay low in the brush to remain hidden. Quietly.
And that was our introduction to stealth. Hide in a bush to hide from the monsters. Though the larger monsters try to sniff you out.
Let's get going while we still can.
You should watch a stream. Give him more streams. Respect monster hunter.
Robert, I'm not trying to be a sellout.
Oh. Well,
What is this track? There's more over there. Let's check it out.
And this is our introduction to monster hunting tracks. You follow the tracks of the monsters to find them.
play very beautiful.
And some of them have distinctive tracks. However, some of them have tracks that are common.
Don't mind me.
And there's the introduction of another main character in the game.
This way. Hurry.
Okay, let's go.
Move.
Yeah. Started Blink by Malcolm. He's a Malcolm Gladwell. He's a very popular contemporary.
Here's the introduction to
Outlier.
one of the apex predators of this area.
Only like very popular.
Come on!
It just so happens that this apex predator is a fire-breathing T-Rex.
Hey,
Chilling right
You alright?
dog.
let's go.
Okay.
Chilling right now, dog.
You know, in the Iron Man song in Black Sabbath, how they do like the intro bit, I finally figured out was put your finger above the actual fretboard. Like,
Oh shoot, did you tell everyone that we heard Miss Church say the F word today? Really? You were there, dude.
what the fuck are you talking about?
When we were in
Amazing, ain't it? Just look at this gate. It's like nature meant for us to build a stera right here.
Stera. I like it.
The rest of the Fifth are already here. You're the last to arrive.
So here we're being introduced to the main headquarters of the main game.
Did you get it? Did you see it?
You're alive.
Had a rough, huh?
Unfortunately, it's more unskippable cutscenes.
Starting to sweat bullets.
So I went through the camera
We're talking about going out to look
and
for you.
found that.
All's well that ends well.
See, I'm not.
Hey, we
it's
need
not
a
that they're
hand.
saying the ones
Sorry.
that shocking. It's just that she was at school. I was
Catch you
surprised
later.
that at school. You know.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
it's just weird
like.
seeing him like at home.
This here's our
I'm not
trade yard.
surprised by his behavior.
I guess the name says it all.
Sounds like Mr. Fritz was just having your average day.
Look at all the people. The stuff.
Just
Incredible.
imagine when we all graduate and we actually we should
We've got it all here.
funny
We've
like
got
dinner or
hunters to
something.
do all the exploring,
You know,
Fun dinner.
like
scholars to do
like
the research,
we're all
technicians to
graduating
keep them
and,
going.
Like being out with
This place is the beating heart of the commission.
their first name.
Wait here a second.
I already called Mr. Fitz.
You know, but it'd be
Oh
funny.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Commander, I found him.
But it'd be funny, like we would all like really get to, you know, like I think it'd be a good idea. I think it'd be good to get to know the people of influence.
Welcome to
Church
Estonia.
would be fun to have at it.
And now we're in a scene where we can skip all the dialogue because this is introduction of the area and the characters.
I think it's a good
I'll give you
idea.
the grand
Like,
tour.
I'll
start by looking for your
I
dog.
would happily schedule something.
This is our stockpile. They carry most of the basic
I
necessities.
feel like no one else is on board.
We should drop by later to see what they have.
I have no.
So once we're done with this and we do one hunt, I'll go ahead and take us to my main account. I mean main character that I play with.
It's funny because the ending, he paired them all, and they're all so similar to where they couldn't get the task done. Like all the dominant people were too busy fighting on who was right. The really extroverted people were too busy like talking about stories and procrastinating, and the shy people couldn't
Me? Not with
share any good solutions, and all the
Born and
really
bred right
like
here.
detailed
Never
work
even been to the old boy.
focus on the details is hilarious.
So nobody can get
Exactly. See, that's my kind of humor. That I find that stuff really funny when people are just so similar in things or
Here's
just
our
can't
smithy.
get something done
This
because
is where
like
you can
common
craft weapons and
phenomena.
armor.
Yeah, but since you're here, I'm totally off topic.
Look at this
It says
place.
Marcy word
You
jewelry.
want to check it out?
Yes.
It's toasty in here.
I just noticed
going?
stud earrings for the most part. I know she likes Claire's.
I am so there.
Find something at Claire's that they're a little more, I wouldn't, yeah.
Here.
My sister-in-law sells jewelry that's full of asshole kind.
Here we're introduced to yet another crucial part
You're going
of
to the grad party?
the game, food. Food is a crucial part of the game.
Tell her that.
So you get skills and buffs based off of how much you eat of specific types. And so if you eat a bunch of meat, you can get daily skills, and there's just a bunch of skill types that you can get from it and benefits.
Right. I'm calling for a council. Come on.
Yeah.
And here we're being introduced to the main reason for why the hunters are here.
After tracking a migrating elder dragon across the sea, the Fifth Fleet have finally arrived in Astera. They're a fine group, worthy comrades who will help see the Research Commission's long efforts finally rewarded. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, sir. We're ready to roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty.
This here is the Commission's core team.
You should all get to know each other.
Looking forward to it.
Now, down to business. The latest monster to make the Elder Crossing is known as Zora Magdaros. A huge monster with a mountain of fire upon its back. Research Commission's job is to discover exactly why the Elder Dragons are migrating to the New World.
Elder Dragons have been with us since the dawn of time. Altering the ecosystem, reshaping the land, leaving disaster in their wake. Once every decade or so, they flock.
With the Fifth's help, we will find the missing link.
Here, here. Now we're talking!
Hunters, for the time being, I need you to focus on start by investigating the Jagged.
Right. We're on it, sir.
Everyone else, you know the drill. Make sure these hunters have everything they need.
Now we're talking!
You two. Make
You heard him.
It's the Fifth banner. All right. Dismissed.
Over here.
Okay, and we're about to be introduced to our weapons for the game. And how to fight is the next mission.
We've placed some basic gear for you in that equipment box.
Okay. So here we can see all the different types of weapons. There's lance. There's a lance with a gun in it. There's a two-handed katana. A great sword. A metal bagpipes to swing at your enemy. A insect glaive, which is essentially a spear that's used to float around in the air and shoot beetles at things. You have your bow, you have your light bow gun, and your heavy bow gun. You have your dual blades, your hammer, your switch axe. No wait, this one's the switch axe, this one's the charge blade. Currently right now I have the sword and shield equip, which everyone hates unfortunately because it does one of the least amount of damage you can get for a weapon.
Handlers sort through the Research Commission's leads. And the ones they deem worth our attention become quests.
Hey!
I swear every time she calls out like that, it sounds like she's trying to be Navi from Legend of Zelda.
Right on time. Oh yeah. What are we waiting for? The new world awaits.
Okay, so this is our introduction to food. In the canteen, you can pay with money or research points. Interacting with NPCs will get you quests to do, and beating monsters will get you quests to do. Since this is a multiplayer game, you can have up to 4 people in a group, and for certain missions, they're almost like server-wide missions, where the server has to work together in order to beat a single monster. And those missions are fun. They have some good rewards. I'll be showing off some of those rewards after we do maybe 1 or 2 missions here. do not know how I'm going to edit this down to make it a small video, small enough to share with Fitz's class. Ooh-wee. Live streams are fun. I don't know how I'm supposed to cut this down, especially because it's a live stream. So, this is also our introduction on how to do missions.
Complete the objective to complete the quest. Easy, right? Each quest has an objective. You can't consider the quest done until you complete that objective. Our current objective is to eliminate a specified number of Jaggers. Let's check them out. We ran into some Jaggers on the way to base. The small monsters, remember? I think we saw them somewhere around here. Want to check it out? Rule number 2. Use the supply box. The Commission supplies us with a loadout of certain items for each quest. They're in the supply box over there. Have a look and decide what you should take along. Oh yeah.
And best thing to do is take all the ammo you can.
Wanna get going?
When you get the chance to.
Ready your weapon before attacking. Keep in mind that what you're able to do depends on whether or not your weapon is drawn. Be careful. When you're investigating or gathering items, you'll generally want to keep your weapon sheathed. Hey!
I'll mark gathering sites and monster positions on the wildlife map for you.
So in this game you can combine items. Like he just said, you can combine honey and potions to get a stronger potion.
Let's see how you hold up when you're on your own. On the run. Don't let them get away.
Another thing is gathering in the game. You gather to build items. Because in this game, weapons are either made as the base material of metal or bone. There's ways to get more items out of things. There's ways to get rarer items out of things. As you can see, I just got some malachite ore and iron ore. Iron ore is the common material right now, but malachite is the rarer material that I had just picked up.
Use whatever you can. You can use the slinger with your weapon drawn. Look for the perfect moment, then fire.
Dodge their attacks. Don't forget, you can guard, too.
The sword and shield is a close-range weapon set that focuses on agility and dodging. It's great for beginners.
As you can see, now that we've hit the amount of monsters that we needed, mission's completed. However, if you can kill enough, fast enough, you might be able to get some more, but I don't really care about the Jagger's materials, unfortunately, so I'll just be killing some more so that way I can get some for the stats. Punch the beetle. And as you can see, every one of them's exterminated. However, monsters in the game do respawn after a certain amount of time. Roughly around 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So these are items that you get for completing the mission based off how much you collect and how much you kill. Later on in the game, once you get a bit of experience, your little cat can also collect things. And now that I've got my base mission done, I now have the ability to play online with people.
Good to see you.
The second page next to Tanya's. Oh, I see.
Okay.
But in the picture, one picture. Probably like there. Second page. Yo, hold on, go back.
Listen up.
All right.
And free materials.
See what you can do with them.
Here you can manage the items that you've collected. And you see your inventory box too while you're at it. As well as all the ammos you have. And all the ammos you can store. Your item box has limited space, however you can expand upon that space. And I got the quest to speak to the smithy. Can't just go straight into a fight. As you can see, there's a tree for you to expand upon, based off of the different monsters you hunt and kill. Okay, so now that we're going to be hunting bigger monsters, I think I might change weapons. So as you can see, we have two insect types. We have poison and healing. There's also other types of insects, I believe, later on in the game. like explosive or slicing. But for now, let us go poison and expand upon it. I cannot expand upon it yet, but we'll fight with our slicing monster. I think this is one of the most creepiest weapon combos, only because you have a beetle bigger than your arm, just there, ready to bite on your arms.
You can pick up quests from the quest board too. It lists the same quests that I got, so don't worry about having to check two places. We're on the hunt.
So this game can be played either as a solo person or in a group. I usually tend to stick to solo gameplay. I do have groups that I play with. Yeah, Robert, you're the only one watching.
How many subscribers is he at?
Like 3. Yeah, Robert, you're the only one watching. Like 3. Oh, dang. There's a big delay. I think it's like 30 seconds.
Okay, our job is to call a certain number of Kestodon. Recently, their numbers have been getting out of hand.
Wanna get going? Ah, there we are. Those, my friend, are Kestodon. Let's see you take them out on your own. Huh. Be careful. Not bad. All right, let's look for another group. The Kestodon are the least of your worries. There are a lot bigger monsters lurking in this forest. The endemic life around here can come in handy during a hunt. Try to learn as much as you can about them. Good work. That just about wraps up our work here. Wait. Hey, come here. I think I found something.
You guys see a reflection through my glass?
Here.
As we're introduced to the weakest of the weak of the large monsters.
Alright, partner. New assignment incoming. Take down that Great Jaguars. If you're not ready, you can return to base and take on the Great Jaguars quest later.
Wanna get going? If you need to call your friends for help, go to the menu and select SOS Flare to signal. And you're going to need friends when you go up against some of the tougher monsters. In order for the scout flags to better track a target monster, you need to keep finding traces on them. Like footprints, for example. Good. You're turning up a lot of clues.
So in this game, unfortunately, aquatic monsters was a big thing in the previous parts of the series of this game of Monster Hunter. Unfortunately for this one, they decided to limit the amount of aquatic style monsters. And there we have our monster.
Flying into a wall will leave it wide open to attack. Drop some slinger ammo. The insect glaive is a close-range weapon that lets you control insects. If you're clever, you can use the slinger to distract monsters. The insect glaive is a close-range weapon that lets you control insects. You can switch to your slinger while aiming your weapon.
One thing that we can do here in this area is natural traps. Unfortunately, I didn't get the monster.
You can use that as slinger ammo. Great for getting the monster's attention, creating a distraction. Okay, the monster's tired. Now's your chance to do some serious damage. That's a piercing fire. Powerful type of slinger ammo. That's able to pierce the thick shell of monsters. Look, the monster's almost done for. Chances are it'll retreat to its nest to recuperate.
Here are the contestants.
Okay. Sorry, Robert. I had to mute you. And I have nobody listening, so Robert's not there either, unfortunately. Here we are, the monster's den. We get to slay the monster or you could capture the monster. Fortunately, at the start of the game, I do not have any traps.
Create some distance and use a weapon. Back and report to the old man.
Now we make our daring escape, because we don't want to deal with the small monsters all the time. And there's more honey to be had. Honey. Stronger potions. Yes. And the beheading of a giant monster. As here we get introduced to yet another cutscene. Cutscenes are horrible cutscenes. Can't be skipped. We are being introduced to a new monster called the Puke. He likes to puke on everything because he pukes poison.
Let's check it out.
Here is our bird, the Puke.
Well, you were right. There's our mark. Something's got him agitated. Look over there. What in the heck is that? I've never seen anything like it.
You think it's from Zora Magdaros?
I'd like to find out. But we better report back first. All right?
Now that we've got a base monster defeated, we are going to go back and I will show you what a near end game character looks like.
Once the camp is set up, you can go after that puke puke.
Wonder where the resource center.
Okay. So this is a character that I've been playing since I got in the game. Create online session. And I think I'll roughly go through and show you the different kinds of weapons that you can get. There is one monster I haven't actually come across in the game. Unfortunately, that's because I haven't reached a high enough rank. So in the game there's hunter ranks and master ranks. Master ranks was added once they added the Iceborne DLC. The master rank is essentially 2 times stronger than hunter rank. So you fight all the same monsters, but they're higher level. So there's 3 stages in the game: low rank, high rank, and master rank. This is a master rank character, and I've defeated the strongest master rank enemy that was recently added, and that was Fatalis. And Fatalis is a black dragon. Let's look at Hunter's notes. So these are the different kinds of monsters that you can fight in the game. You can come across all of these monsters. Some of them are the same monsters, some of them are not. There's monsters that are variants, which means like Lunesta and Teostra. They're variant monsters. They're the same species, but they're variants because Teostra is a male and Lunesta is the female. Like Rathalos and Rathian. Rathalos is the male one, Rathian's the female one. Those are considered variants. Subspecies, like the pink Rathian, it just means that they mutated over time. There are creatures like the invasive species, the Benbaro. They will enter into any area and invade. There are special monsters that you can only come across during special missions. There are even higher level versions of monsters, like Ruiner Nergigante. That's the one monster I haven't beaten in the game. There's Silver Rathalos and Golden Rathalos. Those are more variants. Frostfang Barioth is another monster that I've come across. Unfortunately, I don't think I've beaten this one either, because it's a special mission. There are also crossover events. The Leshen is from The Witcher 3, and the Ancient Leshen is also from the Witcher 3. The Behemoth is from Final Fantasy, and I'm pretty sure it's because Capcom is the producer of these games, or a co-producer. So essentially you have your monster tier list. The lower they are on the hunting notes, the weaker they are, and the higher you go, the either more special they are, or the more difficult they are to fight. Fatalis would be my most difficult monster to fight because Fatalis is a legendary black dragon, known to have destroyed an entire kingdom in a single night. Let's change weapons. And let's just go fight some monsters. So I have different loadouts for different occasions. I have this loadout meant for gathering items. I have this loadout meant for using the light bowgun. This was also another crossover event for Horizon Zero Dawn. I have a setup for longswords too. This is a setup built strictly around dragon damage. If we come down here into the smithy, we can see that there is quite a large number of things that you can do now that you're later into the game. You can forge new equipment, but you can also upgrade into larger trees. Of course, this isn't the sword and shield that I showed earlier, so I will pull that up. Let's see. In the sword and shield, you can only see like these first three right here: poison, water, and the regular hunting knives. You can only see those three, but now that I've gone through the game, you can see that it goes all the way up to like tier 12. Tier 12 being the highest that you can get and the most difficult to get. I have quite a few of these things unlocked. However, I didn't get the chance to get all the stuff because it requires specific materials off of monsters. Like, the upgrade for this one, it requires me to go fight Ruiner Nergigante. Unfortunately, I haven't fought him. There's also specific weapons for specific monsters because they're that high level. Or there's specialty weapons from missions. And here is the weapon that the game producers made for themselves. The Azura Star Blade. They've had their own armor and weapons put into the game strictly around their business. I think it's cool. However, the previous times and the other games, in order to get this equipment, you had to actually go to Japan in order to get it. Or you had to wait an entire year if you couldn't go to Japan in order to get the equipment. There were also groups that decided that they were going to go ahead and join the Japanese players in their missions, so that way they can get the unlocks. So, the main weapons that I really use is like hammers, great swords, and I also use the hunting horn. So I'm going to, as you can see, there's different levels for each area, and some things are just locked for lower levels. Like the Guiding Lands is only something you get at Master Rank. The Elder's Recess is something that you get at high rank, but is also unlocked for Master Rank. Unfortunately, the Iceborne areas are also locked for low rank and high rank. Let us go fight a Black Diablos. once this fight is done, I believe that will be the end of this stream. And then this will be the video that I share with Fitz. You know, just instructionatory thing, not too detailed. Definitely not something of great status or anything like that. Just something to do. So, fun story, this Black Diablos that I'm gonna go fight, I actually had problems fighting it when I first came across it. I didn't know how to defend against it, didn't know how to fight it. I later found out it works just like how the regular Diablos is, because it's another variant. I also found out that it's weak to water or ice damage. So, looking for ice weapon or water weapon. Is that water? No, that's blast. Let's use an awaken event item. So this is an event item for fighting the main storyline boss. Oh, hey. I've never seen this dude here. That's quite interesting. So currently, right now, I'm at the location normally where the monster spawns. And there it is. Crikey, I poked it with a stick. I forgot to do one of the first things you should do for a mission. I forgot to eat. But you know, that can easily be solved because I just so happen to have an item. Pendants are another thing that you can have in the game. I just so happen to have a pendant equipped, and it's from another event. It was a crossover with another Capcom game, but I don't know what the title is, unfortunately. But it had something to do with Raccoon City and their police officers there. I believe it's a zombie game. As you can see, you can also break parts on monsters. I just broke the horn off of this Black Diablos. If I had a slashing weapon, I could have broken the tail off, or cut the tail off. You could do that with most weapons too, but the problem is it's more efficient to do it with a bladed weapon. I brought a spear, which is meant for stabbing, and essentially breaking. As you can see, both horns are broken, which indicates the damage that I've done to the head. So in the game, since you usually work with a group of people, you would focus on 3 areas: the legs, the head, or the tail. If you have like a longsword, people would tell you to focus on the tail. Unfortunately, something that everyone associates with the longsword is you're trying to be cool with your longsword that goes swing swing and has, you know, like anime lines and stuff like that to indicate you have amazing power. You know, you try to go for the head of the monster given how your weapon is a helm breaker. But when you're usually supposed to be focusing on the tail, since you have a fast damaging like weapon for the tail. Hammers are usually supposed to go for the head, just like hunting horns, because they're blunted weapons. They can stun enemies and do a lot of damage while you're at it. Great swords are usually supposed to go just about anywhere. Essentially what people associate with the great sword is that they're like a tank. But that's mostly what like shield using weapons are. Lance is supposed to be the tankiest of them all. Can take a lot more of the damage from a lot of the different types of damages that can be dealt. One of the monsters just so happens to shoot laser beams. The shield can defend a large chunk of the damage. The sword and shield, I believe, is one of the most underlooked weapons. Mostly because it has bash attacks, which is blunted damage. It has your jump attacks, which, for the most part, there is no weapon that you can have, like, an automatic, you decide when you jump. Jumping is not something that you get to decide in the game, unless you have the lance. But there are like aerial attacks that you can do, but the lance is the only one that has an actual jump. As you can see here, I go for my jump attack. As you can see, the monster left the location. Where the monster went, I don't know. I don't believe the monster left the locale. And I don't think the monster's died yet. Where could the monster? There it is. Just build up some speed. This is another thing you can do to the monsters. You can sit there and chip away at their armor, weakening them for your teammates. But this is also called monster mounting, which is something that usually lances aren't supposed to do, but because they have a jump attack, which does aerial damage. Aerial damage is the main thing that people look for when trying to damage something to mount. And as you can see, I just slayed the monster. Whenever you go to hunt the monster, what you want to do is you want to have some basic knowledge on it. That's usually the easiest way to do things with. This was a charging monster, so you would bring like a shield. It's weak against ice and water damage, so you just bring ice and water. As you can see here, here's tracks for an tempered creature. tempered indicates that it's stronger than average and it'll do a lot more damage. That can also mean that it's bigger or smaller than average too. And usually smaller monsters are not fun to fight because they have the HP of a normal monster, but they do 2 times the damage. But that is it for my video.